Hey. Hey, guys.
Hi, Joe.
Hey.
Let's see. Get some lights going. Okay. And one thing that's new, I hadn't done the live stream from this. Did it automatically do it? Hold on one second. Hey, Matthias.
Hi, Joe.
Hey, Jeff's here. Long time no see, Jeff. How you doing?
Yes, hi Joe. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, right. Can you see me?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I can't see myself, so if the top of my head's cropped off or whatever.
Excellent. Okay, let's see. It looks like you're frozen though, but I can see you. Yeah.
Hold on a sec.
Well, let me join I just had to check the YouTube chat in case anyone chats over there. 1 second. You know, I love 1Password, but sometimes it just doesn't work. It doesn't launch. It doesn't autofill. It drives me nuts.
It's a feature, Joe.
Yeah. Thank you.
There we are.
Have I said recently how much I hate reCAPTCHA? Like, seriously. Can we just stop using reCAPTCHA in the world? Like, it just makes the world a worse place. In my opinion. Because I just got that one wrong. So now I got to find a bunch of stairs. Okay.
So this is user.
Now I have to find crosswalks. Okay. Like, you think I could, like, just do one puzzle? Why 3? There we go. Now it's letting me in. I started the recording.
So far, the boardies have it.
Oh, it's recording at least. I don't see the live stream going, but darn it. And I don't see a way to start it. Oh, well. Oh, live streaming. Learn how to set up your live stream. Did that. How to start live stream? Well, when the time comes to start your session or event, click the live stream button next to the record button. Start live stream. Okay, got it. I see the button, but I can't click it. Oh, well. At least I'm recording. We'll upload it later. Okay. How's everyone doing today?
Okay.
Excellent. I did literally just a few minutes ago. I did post the announcement with the buy links if you guys want to get access to the beta. Okay. As I said on that post, this is a pay-to-play beta. Okay. And the reason I'm doing that is I really want to make sure that there aren't too many cooks in the kitchen per se, and that the people that want to test are serious about it. Right. So it is a pay-to-play. Eventually, once the final product is shipped, there will be the free download trial, just like I have in the current Total CMS. Okay. But yeah, during the beta process, I just want to make sure I get people that are serious, and people that are serious are ones that are willing to put the money up and pay to play. Okay. With that said, when you do purchase, you will get an invoice with the download. You won't get a license yet. I haven't built the licenses yet, right? So you will not get a license yet. Once I build it before the final product ships, you'll get a new invoice with your official license. Okay?
Hey, Joe, your automatic mic volume just dropped. Like, it just went poof.
Oh, really?
It was like a little too buzzy, and then all of a sudden something just went poof, and it dropped.
Oh, really? I'll disable noise reduction.
I don't know what it was, but yeah, it's
Okay, how's that now?
it hasn't changed. It's still quiet, but it's
Oh, okay. If I
I don't
move
know
it
what
closer,
happened.
is that better?
a little better, but it's drastically quiet. Happens. It's like something on your system puts you high for like 15 minutes, and then it dives you for 15 minutes, and then it puts you high
Really?
for 15. Yeah, it's on all your live streams and stuff. It seems to have this like pattern of.
I'm gonna quit sound source. Let's see if that does anything. I'm just curious about that. Okay.
More like it's probably audio hijack.
Yeah. Okay. If you aren't talking, if you can mute yourself though, that way we can reduce the echo, because sometimes there's some echo going around. So, yeah, if you can just mute yourself while you're not chatting, I'm happy to have anybody unmute themselves to talk. I want this to be an open discussion, okay? But yeah, you know, with lives, there's always going to be some echo when we have multiple people coming in and out. Okay. Okay. So let me just rehash a little bit what's in that announcement before we dive into the demo or answer any questions. Okay. There will be 3 versions of Total CMS 3, or 3 editions of Total CMS 3. Okay. There is a light edition, which actually isn't available during this beta access, so you can't purchase it. Pricing is still to be determined on that. Think of that though as like what easy CMS is now. Okay. But it will actually have a lot more features. I'm actually planning on adding gallery and feeds into the light version. Feed is kind of like right now, feed is only in Total CMS. It's kind of like a very simple blog, right? So the light version will be getting that as well. Okay, so that's nice. Then there's standard, okay? Standard is essentially what the current version of Total CMS is, right? Plus a bunch of new features. There's obviously a lot of new features, which we'll dive into a little bit. That Total CMS 3 just has in general, such as the new image engine, the pre-built admin area. There's a new factory API that all versions have access to, which is really cool. And then obviously the whole new macro, Twig macro engine, which is extremely powerful. Okay. And all editions will have access to that as well. But yeah, the standard version is essentially like the current version of Total CMS. You'll have blog and a bunch of other, there's also some new fields such as SVG, and a few others, right? Then you'll have access to all of those. And then there's the price for standard is going to be $159. Total CMS is still licensed per domain. Okay. One time per domain, no subscription. Then we have professional. Professional will have the features that a lot of us have wanted for years, right? That is essentially unlimited fields, okay? You can now create what's called a custom collection, okay? We'll dive into what a collection is a little bit later, but essentially think of everything as a blog now, right? Where you can name it whatever you want. You can add however many number of fields you want, and you can name those fields whatever you want, right? Because I know we all abuse Total CMS blog now. And one of the annoying things of it is we have to remember, what did I use the author field for, right? You're using the author field for price, and you're using, the extra content field for a product description or something like that, right? I mean, and you have to remember, okay, what did I know I've seen people have like spreadsheets that like have little maps of what they use fields for, right? But yeah, obviously that is not a viable solution. Obviously you can still do that if you wanted to use the standard version, but Pro allows you to name those fields whatever you want, right? So the price field is going to be named price, and so on and so forth, right? So you get to name those fields whatever you want. And I know Bill Burden doesn't seem to be here, but he's done quite a lot of work. And he says it's just a breath of fresh air now, being able to name, he builds a lot. If you don't know Bill, he builds a lot of stamp collection websites. Okay. Calling it a collection is a misjustice, because he does an insane amount of really cool stuff if you're a stamp collector. But being able to name those fields exactly what he needs to name them, for whatever the stamp, verbology is for that, is a game changing for him, and he's loving it, right? And I think everyone is going to love that. Okay. Other things that Pro will have access to. So there's a completely elaborate documented API that will then allow you to integrate it with other services, either through Zapier, or I prefer a service called Active Pieces that will allow you to integrate your website with external data sources all into Total CMS. So super powerful there. Some other FAQs. I figured I'd just go through all of these up front really now. So upgrade pricing. There will be upgrade pricing once we ship, but it's not available yet. I haven't established what the upgrade pricing is. Okay, as I said though, it is pay to play. So if you want it into the beta access now, you pay full price right now. Okay. Sorry, I just haven't had time to figure out all the various combinations of upgrading. Because there's different editions of Total CMS now, like upgrading to each one, like how do we do it, right? And so yeah, so right now there will be upgrades, and also upgrading of, while we're talking about upgrades, upgrading of an existing website. So that will be possible. You can upgrade an existing website from version 1 to version 3. The stacks, however, are different, right? Total CMS 3 is a complete reimagining of what Total CMS is. Absolutely zero lines of code were brought over from version 1 to the current version. This is 1000% new. Okay. I've actually rewritten Total CMS. This is my third rewrite of Total CMS since the current production version. Okay. And I'm pretty sure I've nailed it. Like, I really love it. It's really good. Okay. Weaver Space, if you didn't know, is powered by an alternate version that technically, like, Total CMS 3 should be like version 4 or 5, because I have rewritten it multiple times. But anyway, upgrading of sites. Stacks are completely new. Okay. So you will have to update the stacks to be the version 3. Okay. Data though, this currently isn't implemented, but by the time we release, I will have a process to migrate your existing Total CMS data into Total CMS 3. Okay, so you won't lose any of your data. I think that's the most important part, right? Making sure that we still have all of our blog posts, or whatever you're manipulating blog to be, and all of your images and all that stuff. We want to make sure that we keep the integrity of all that data, so that you can just use and leverage the new version. Okay. Okay, let's see. Can you use Total CMS 1 and 3 on the same website? Technically, yes. I'd recommend against it though. Me personally, I like keeping things clean. Like, it's just like I would do like a subdomain of your existing website maybe, and just like try to play around with it for now. But with that said, if you really, really, really wanted to, there's no technical reasons they can't live on the same website. However, they should not live on the same web page 100%, right? So they should never be on the same web page, at least. So yeah, I'd recommend, again, not doing them on the same website, but technically I haven't personally tested it, but there is no technical reason. They are essentially two different products. Okay. So, but yeah, I definitely would not have them on the same web page.
I think after someone uses Total CMS 3, they'll never, ever want to go back.
Okay. I think that covered all my FAQs. Are there any other kind of opening questions before I kind of dive in and maybe do some show and tell and whatnot? No? Okay. I'd say today is quite raw. This morning, I was still working on new features for the next beta build. And then I was like, oh, shoot, I got to get this email and everything posted, right? So I don't have like a hugely polished demo other than the demo that I've just been using for Total CMS. And just curious, is anybody here not seen Total CMS 3 at all? Jeff. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that, how far back I need to go. Okay, cool. So we'll do a quick refresher of what Total CMS 3 does and can do. Let me share my screen. Let's do this screen. I gotta move that over. Here. You guys can see my screen now, I believe.
It's blank.
Oh, it's black. All right.
It's like clear or white for me.
You are now sharing your screen.
Everything's there, just
I
fine.
can see it now. We can see it now. It's all good.
Okay, cool.
Perfect.
All right, let's actually instead of this one, let's do my other website. All right, perfect. So we'll do a little tour of Total CMS online before we like dive into Rapid Reaver Stacks, okay, and show that off inside there, okay. So here we are. This is a Total CMS 3 based website, and obviously, you know, everything on this page is managed with Total CMS, just as you could potentially do with Total CMS 1, right? So this text up here this image is. Well, you'll notice is we have a watermark here. That watermark was added by Total CMS, which is quite cool. That's a new feature in Total CMS 3 where we can actually watermark images. And that watermark is added, it's in the image. It's not like an overlay or anything like that. It is embedded into the image, which is nice. Okay. We have a nice gallery that is, I think, quite elegant. I really like the new gallery. Okay. So yeah, so that we have that. We have a feed. Okay, so this is obviously similar to, again, this a simple version of a blog. Okay, I'm not going to win any design awards for this demo. Okay, but yeah, I mean, this is mostly I use this for testing and whatnot. Okay, but this is just a simple feed. Okay, I thought I had a pop-up light box. I guess I didn't add a light box to this. Okay, and then we have something that's, you know, a blog. Okay, which has a little bit more you know, data than a feed. And if we can, you know, click on each individual one, it takes you to the blog post page, so on and so forth. Okay, so we have a blog. I do have custom collections working. Okay, so this is a custom collection, and essentially, remember, custom collections can be it's similar to a blog, right, where you have individual items and you can click on them and go to the page. But we have the ability to rename the fields to be whatever we want, right? And we'll look at that. This isn't a very exciting version of that, but it is what it is. Okay. Next up is the admin areas. So there's two ways now to do admin areas in Total CMS 3. We have the ability to, just as we did before, to build our own custom admin areas. I think this is very important. I think this is actually an interesting selling point that of Total CMS that not many other CMS solutions have, right? And I'm sure you've seen some of the amazing project files out there, and some users have made some absolutely stunning admin areas. Okay, Davide has, Chris has. Man, I know I'm gonna miss some. What was the newest one?
Massimo.
Massimo does some amazing ones, yes. And then the latest one was oh man, I could picture his face. He just did one where you can manage all the colors and everything. It was absolutely stunning. Oh, that's gonna drive me nuts. 1 second here. I gotta look. Oh, and I think I ran out of space. I wasn't able to actually give him a space, was I? Oh no. From Belgium. Josh, help me out, dude. Ah, that's gonna drive me nuts. I feel so bad now. Hold on here. I gotta find this out. That's the announcement. He just shipped his first project file a few months ago. Oh, Stacks App Studio. There it is. Boom. And it's there you go. Stacks App Studio. Let's check that out. And Palettes. That was the name of the project. Palettes. Super cool. And his name is, oh man. Josh, you're letting me down, dude. What's his I can picture his face. I was just drawing a blank on his name. From Belgium. Oh well. Project file is awesome. Gaston, there it is. Jesus. Thank you. Okay, check out palettes. If you guys haven't checked that one out, it's really slick. Okay. Where were we? Demo. Okay. All right, back to this. So we can create our own admin areas just as we did before. I see this is, looks, I think, slightly upgraded from Total CMS 1. Okay. There are a lot of features we'll dive into, but we have this is the admin area for just the general thing, right? The homepage, and then we have our feed admin area. And you can do all kinds of stuff. If I click on this, it opens it up in a light box, right? And then blog has a slightly different implementation where you click on that and it takes you to the individual blog post page. So yeah, a lot of that is, very similar to you guys. Okay. But Total CMS 3, as I said, there's another way of doing things. And I know building out an admin area can be a lot of work. And sometimes it can feel like you have to design two different websites, right? So what I wanted to do is I wanted to give us an admin dashboard, okay? And this is a pre-built for you admin area that allows you to edit all of your collections. So if I can go into blog, here's all my blog posts. I can click on a blog post and I can edit that blog post, right? As you see, here's all of my collections here. Here's my feed, okay? Here's that custom collection that I was talking about that we saw earlier. And I can click on that. This is a custom collection that has custom fields, okay? Yeah. So we have access to edit everything here. The documentation it's baked in. It's obviously still a work in progress, okay? But yeah, the documentation's all baked in. We have a bunch of utilities that we can do, such as project setup and cache cleaners and all kinds of cool stuff. There's a server checker, which I think is really cool. A log file analyzer that lets you see all the various log files in Total CMS and all the errors associated with it and stuff. So some really cool stuff, okay? All baked into this admin area that obviously is still a work in progress, okay? So yeah, admin area, two different ways. And again, maybe you don't give your client access to this particular admin area. Maybe they don't have access to it. Maybe, you reserve this for you, and you create a small admin area that gives your customers access just to what they need, right? And so, there will be some granular user level details. That's actually what I'm working on as we speak. There is no authentication built in right now. So that's what I'm working on, and giving out rights and, turning on and off things based on user and user groups and whatnot. But yeah, the custom admin area, I think, is going to be the ultimate tool in terms of, if you really want to give your client just what they needed in a very user-friendly, custom way, this is still possible. Any questions yet? Cool. Okay. Some other cool stuff with Total CMS. Some of the game-changing things is in image. There's an entire image editor, right? And so we can save all kinds of information about an image. We can modify, if you see there's a focal point here, I can either drag these little sliders around, or I can drag the actual focal point around and save the focal point of an image. And why is that good? Because let's say if I wanted to crop an image, I can now crop it based on the focal point. So every single image, you can actually drag this around, set what the focal point of that image is, and then you can create, let's say, square cropped versions of an image, right? This particular image, I think, the center is probably where you'd want it. But let's say this Volkswagen, this VW bus was over here, right? You can set the focal point over somewhere else, which is quite cool. We have access to all the EXIF information. This particular image doesn't have any, but when you upload it, it actually extracts the EXIF data from an image, and then you can actually edit that data here within the CMS as well. It extracts colors. So whenever you look at or upload an image, it'll extract the colors. And then you can actually modify these colors if you want, and then rearrange them. So there's a lot of really cool stuff going on here for images in Total CMS 3. Another thing we can do is we have now this image builder, okay? And this image builder is pretty cool. It allows us to create versions of our images. So let's step back and let's talk about what Total CMS 1 does for images. If you're a user of Total CMS 1, you know that when you upload an image, it creates 3 versions of that image. It creates a scaled down original version. It creates a thumbnail square cropped, and it creates a thumbnail with the original aspect ratio. And you defined what those sizes of all those images were on upload, right? And once they were created, they were created. However, over the years, we've realized that it can be annoying because let's say you uploaded 100 images and a couple years later, you're like, you know what? I wish these images were larger. I want larger thumbnails. Well, you're kind of out of luck because Total CMS created that image and you can't get a larger version of that image anymore without re-uploading the image. So in Total CMS 3, what we do is we upload your original image that you uploaded. Okay, we store the original image and then you can generate new versions of that image on the fly as much as you want. And this image builder allows us to do that. So let's say I wanted this this particular one. Let's say I wanted a 300 width thumbnail. Let's scroll down. Let's do like a crop. I'm going to do, let's do crop focal point. Okay. And let's preview that image. Oops. And I want to do, I want to do height 300 as well so that we get a square. Okay. Now, if you remember on this image, I actually changed the focal point to be over here. So that's why it's over here, right? So just for fun, let's go ahead. I'm going to go back into this image. We're going to switch the focal point back over there. Okay. And we're going to go back into here and we're going to preview that image again. And voila, it's dynamically, I changed the focal point. I reloaded this image and voila, it dynamically created this image on the fly right now. Okay. Pretty cool. And we do all kinds of other stuff. There's some effects we could do, right? I can blur this if I wanted to. These are probably, edge case things. You're probably not going to use too much, but yeah, I think the filters are nice if you wanted like a black and white version of an image. There we go, right? Or sepia toned. So you could do some cool stuff there. You can add a background color. This is mostly if it's a PNG, a transparent image, you can actually make the background color a particular color if you need to. And then you can add some borders, okay? This actually adds the border to the image now, though. It's not like a CSS border. It actually adds a border, an actual border inside the image. And as I said earlier, we have ability to watermark stuff. So I can go in here and I can say, I want the Weaver Space logo. And I can say, go. And there it is. Now I have the Weaver Space logo dead smack on the image. Okay. And that is baked into the image. And you can adjust the height of that. So if you want to make sure it's, think like let's do like 50% or something like that. I think we could do that. Nope. Wait, what is it? Gee, I think it's 50W. There it is, right? And then you can position it wherever you want. You can change the opacity, right? So if we want it alpha, I think it's 50, right? There. So we can adjust the alpha, all kinds of cool stuff, right? Maybe position we want it in the middle. There we go. So pretty slick. I think the dynamic watermarking is going to be a game changer. Now, what's also awesome is once you've kind of built the image that you want, you can just copy this. And this is the macro that you would use on your web page to get this exact image every single time. Right? Pretty cool. And we do the same thing. I'm not going to do the whole demo again, but we do the same thing for gallery images as well, right? So all images have that feature. Pretty cool. Any questions? No? Man. Okay. With that said, let's dive into, actually, let's go ahead and build. I think Matthias, you had some questions earlier this week and you're like, hey, Joe, I would like you to review something this week on the live stream if you can. And so figured why not? We'll jump in and help Matthias out here. Okay, so let me go ahead. I think he sent me an email. Hold on one second. Let me move this over before I. Go into my ticketing system. I'm pretty sure you sent an email. Yeah. All right, Matthias, are you here? Why don't you talk us through? So you're wanting to build a gallery of galleries, correct?
Correct. It's like a blog, which only has a blog list which links to a to different blog galleries. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So yeah, let's go ahead and create that.
And I
Why not?
don't know if I have to use a blog for that in TCMS3 or if there are other ways. Maybe we have to use a blog.
Sure. So there's two ways you could use a blog, right? Or you could create a custom collection. We can kind of play around with both ideas if you like.
Of course.
Sure. Now, another thing about Total CMS, now that we have launched Stacks here, is that as you know, Total CMS, the current version, okay, that is shipped, displays the data from your website inside preview. And while that is a very nice feature, over the time as Total CMS has grown in power and people use it for so many more things, it can take a long time for preview to generate. And the reason for that is that it had to connect to your server, pull down the data to build the preview, and then display it, right? And it could have took up to 2 minutes in some. I've seen a 2-minute preview time. It took 2 minutes because there was so much CMS stuff on the page. And so I wanted to rectify that. I wanted to make things work better inside preview. Okay. And the way I've done that is Total CMS 3 currently works 100% on its own inside preview. Okay. So that means all the data inside here is managed all within preview. So as you see, this is the project file for that demo site that we were just looking at. And there's not much data in here. Okay. And if I were to go in here, let's use, I still like using the browser though. Okay. If I were to go into preview into here, and I can go and I can add in my own images. Okay. And then if I were to go back to this page, let's go ahead and let's preview the homepage again. We'll see now that image is there, right? Because all the data is managed inside preview. And it makes previewing fast. Okay, as you see, I mean, that would have taken a lot longer with Total CMS 1. And not to mention, once we start, I mean, this just has an image and some text, but as we start adding more and more things to a page, this is going to be so much faster because everything is local on your machine. It also means that you can be on an airplane or in a cafe without internet access and everything will work. Okay. With that said, I understand it is a nice feature to have data from your actual web server. So possibly, you know, I'll look at some things that we could do in the future with keeping performance, but still maybe possibly syncing some of the data down. Okay. There is a manual process to do that as well. This data does live on your Mac in a folder, so it can just be easily manipulated. For those that want to see that really quick, if you just do Command 9, it brings up this, and you go to Open Document. It's buried a little bit. Okay, I will admit it's buried, but it is on your Mac. And so if we open up, these are all the files that Preview uses, okay, to generate your preview. And I have to say this location is much easier to use in Stacks Pro, okay, which we're not going to dive into today. But it's much easier to get to this information with Stacks Pro. So that's a nice thing, just to let you know. So if I scroll all the way down here we go. This is all my data for preview, okay. As you see, I do have a lot of blog posts. So if I were to go to the blog page here, we'll see that I do have a lot of blog posts, okay. And a lot of this is just dummy data. Because yeah, for preview, I just need to make sure that the design works great, right? So having just sample data, which a lot of this is generated by something called the factory, which we can look at in a little bit, okay? But yeah, again, the whole point of this was that preview is kind of its own standalone instance of Total CMS 3, which I think is a nice thing. All right. Let's get into Matthias's thing where he wanted to build out a gallery of galleries. Okay. So how are we gonna do that? Let's go ahead and I'm just gonna duplicate this and let's just do a gallery blog. All right, we're gonna call this gallery blog. Why not? Okay, let's go into here. Remember, right now I'm in preview, so I'm just going to build all this out in preview. Right? And I'm just going to go into here. I'm in the Total CMS admin area, and we are in preview. Just to let everybody know, I'm in preview, and the admin area works just dandy in there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to create a new collection. Okay, actually, let me let's talk about new terminology really quick in Total CMS 3. There's essentially there's a 3-tier approach to Total CMS. We have something called a schema, and a schema defines what a particular object of that type is. Okay, so like for example, here we have a schema of blog, and a blog has a draft and featured, an ID, a title, a date, all that stuff, right? So you define all of the fields. What makes a blog post up? Very similar to what a database schema is, if you're familiar with databases. Next up is we have a collection. A collection is a collection of objects that conform to that schema, right? So here I have a collection, happens to also be called blog, okay? And inside there, we have a bunch of objects. Now, in this case, the objects happen to be blog posts. Okay, but if I click on those, I can then edit that particular object. So that's the terminology. We have schemas, collections, and objects. And I guess if you wanted to go one level deeper, an object has properties. Okay, so there we go. That's kind of the 4-tier approach to Total CMS. And everything behaves like that. Even simple things like here we have color. Oh, and I don't have any color. Let's go to text. Oh, there's no text in there either. Here, let's go to color. Here, let's quickly show you the factory. So I don't currently have any color objects. I'm just going to randomly generate example data for me. So I'm going to go into factory for this color collection. And I'm just going to say generate, well, let's generate 10 colors. Generate new objects. Okay. And let's go back into my color collection. And voila. I now have 10 randomly generated colors. Now, this color object is very simple. All it is an ID and a color. That's it. And if I click on it, you'll see that all I have is the access to change that color. And I can go ahead and change this color to be whatever I seem fit, right? And I can save it. Okay. Yeah, and if I go back, that color is now changed. Okay. So everything is a collection, and collections all contain objects, no matter how complex or simple those objects are. In this case, this object is just, again, an ID and a color, which actually shows another new feature in Total CMS 3 is we can now manage colors, which is fun and exciting. Okay. Okay, so with that done, let's go ahead and I'm going to create a new collection, and we're going to call this gallery blog. Why not? I guess. Okay. And so I'm going to create a new collection called gallery blog. It conforms to the blog schema. Okay, because we are going to use it as a blog right now. Okay. And I'll just leave these other fields blank for now. We'll come back to this URL field in a little bit, but I'm going to save that. All right. So let's go into this gallery blog now. I have nothing. Okay. Now, Matthias, you just what fields did you want in particular? Do you remember? Do you know?
Yeah, I have the email open here. Just a second.
Okay.
Okay, title, of course. I need a date for sorting, a short description, and an image. This is for the blog.
And a gallery, right? So you need an image.
Just a second. I'm talking about the blog list.
Yes.
There I don't need a gallery, but on the blog post page I need the title and a gallery.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So just for fun, I'm just to keep things quick. I'm just gonna generate 3 example blog posts for right now using the factory. Okay.
Yeah.
So now I have 3 blog posts. Okay. And here, let's see, let's make sure I have, we have more data than we need. I don't think you needed all of this, but that's okay. Okay. And we don't have any galleries. So let's just add a couple galleries, a couple images into here. Why not? Right. Oops. What happened? Oh, there's a bug I have fixed that I didn't fix in the stacks yet.
Okay.
1 second. Maybe it's just with that image. It's only with certain images. Hold on, let's see. Let me try a different image. Let's try this one. Darn it. Yes, I fixed this. Fuck. Oops, sorry. Oops. Ignore I said. I didn't say that bad word. God darn it.
Didn't know you spoke French.
Exactly. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm just going to I'm going to rebuild Total CMS really quick. Shouldn't take me long. Let me just run this simple command. Let me make sure I'm on the right tree here. Oh man. Am I going to regret that? I don't want to do that because I have a lot of untested changes that I haven't committed yet. Okay. All right, how are we going to do that? Oops, what did I do there? Oh, I quit Rapid Weaver. Darn it. Oh, that's not going to work out the preview anyway. I wonder if it works. Hold on, let me see if it works on I'm going to quickly redo what I just did there. We're going to create a new collection. It was called Gallery Blog. Okay. Schema is a blog. I'm going to say save. Go into my Gallery Blog collection. Let's go ahead and just create 3 objects for myself. Go into there, edit this, and if we're lucky, damn. Okay. This is only broken in my version on my machine. So I'm going to continue on, and we'll just pretend that this has a gallery. Is that okay for you for now? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So the gallery works on your instance, correct? Again, it's just
it
broken
does.
on my machine. Yeah.
Flawlessly.
Okay.
I can give you the URL to it, so you can.
It's okay. I think the concept is going to be what's important here.
Yeah.
Okay. So you saw I created that just a collection. Okay. And in this case, I just created some objects. We have an image, and you would have a gallery. Okay. So now let's look at the blog list page. Okay.
Yeah.
And in here, I have I'm going to loop through my blog. Okay. And here, the collection is going to be gallery-blog because that's what I called my collection. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to loop through here, and we have, again, here, for those that are new, this is the new macro syntax. Okay, so this is a blog. So everything is just going to be post dot and then the attribute name. So we have post dot title. You have a post dot date. We don't need this little star. The summary was your description.
Yep.
Okay. And then this image here brings in the image from that blog post.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. We don't need tags. And let's just, we'll even remove the button. We'll make it so that you can click on this image.
Mhm.
And that should just work. Okay. And this object link stack creates the link. Actually, here, let's go ahead and we'll just make the whole thing one big link. How about that?
Mhm.
There. So now inside this object link stack, we have the image and our header, our date, and the summary, which is our details. Okay.
Yep.
And if I preview this should work inside preview because I generated some dummy data, if you remember correctly, right?
Mhm. Yep.
And it does. All right. The image didn't come up though. What's going on there? Oh, it's because in here I need to change the collection to be gallery dash blog in the image stack. So now if you do it, there we go. Okay, so now I have the my simple grid, okay, of blog posts. Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's go to the gallery post page really quick and let's design that. Okay. So here I'm loading my collection. Okay. And my collection, this one, it's not blog, it's gallery dash blog. Okay. And we'll continue to call this post. Okay. But you can rename this to be gallery or something if you wanted. And remember, whatever you type into here on this page would change here. So if I were to change this to be gallery, okay, then down here I would do gallery.title.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So for this particular object loading stack, you define the variable name that is used in your macros. Okay. So let's just put that to post since I already have post everywhere else on the page. Okay.
Yep.
And then we have our main image will be here. And again, in the image stack, you do have to supply the collection again. So this is going to be gallery dash blog. Okay. And then we have our title, our date. Maybe you have the full content. You probably have I assume you just want the summary again, maybe.
Yep.
Okay, summary. And then down here you would have your well, here I have the gallery image. You would probably just have your gallery.
I don't need that. No.
Yeah. So you would just have the gallery down here. And again, down here you'd have to choose the collection would be gallery dash blog. Okay. There we go. All right. So that'll loop through and create a gallery. And you don't need this X-ray stack. There we go. So let's save that. Now, let's before I go ahead and publish this, okay, let's look at these. So I'm going to do the folder here is going to be / gallery dash blog. Okay. And then on the post page, let's do / gallery dash blog. And just for fun here, just to be different, I'm going to call this gallery.php. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's preview that. Now, let's preview it in the browser. I like the browser. All right. Now, what we want is we want the ability to click on this, okay, and take us to the blog, to take us to the gallery page.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And if you remember, okay, we have, or let's go ahead and preview this particular page. Okay, preview this page. Okay. So in preview, this is our gallery page. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy that. And what I'm going to do
The
is we're going to
collection.
go back. Yep. So we're going to go and edit that collection. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember earlier when I created this collection, I said I was gonna skip the URL field. Okay. I'm going to paste that URL in here. This is akin to, you remember in the current version of Total CMS, when you previewed the blog post page, that light box would come up,
Yeah.
and then you had to like save the gallery, the URL to the CMS. This is exactly what that does. Okay. But this saves it within the collection. And I think this is better. I think it's more it's less magical, okay? Because it just basically, it's clear. I created a collection, and this is the URL to that collection's object page.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let's just save that. And remember, right now, I'm all inside preview right now, right? So that's why this URL is kind of fugly, right? Obviously, once I restart RapidWeaver, this won't work because this little port number changes. But if we were on a published site, this is, you would publish, yourdomain.com / so on and so forth. Okay. So now let's go ahead and go back to my blog gallery page. Let's just preview this in the browser. And now if I click on this, it should magically, but do I not do something in preview? Did I not save it? I saved it. Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
There as well.
Correct.
Maybe I do something inside preview that makes, I'll be honest, maybe I do something in preview that kind of breaks that thing. Here, let's go ahead and publish this. That way it's on a live site.
Yeah.
And right. So now we're on this, and I think I created that gallery here already. Yeah, I did. Okay, cool. What I'm gonna do is just paste that, and I'll just change the domain to be So now let's go back. And if I go to the gallery-blog page, okay, now I have this. Now if I click through, oh, look at that. We have an error. What happened here? ID must be a type string, no given. Oh, hold on. And I think I know why it didn't work in preview. Hey. Inside this object link stack. Oh no, I didn't use pretty URLs. Oh, the collection. That's why it wasn't working. In the object link, you have to put the collection as well, and that is gallery-blog. Shoot. Yep.
Oh boy.
Here. I'm curious now. If I click on that, and it works in preview now.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense now. Okay. But here, let's just for fun, let's go ahead and publish that. And we should see it online too. That's me just trying to skip steps and use existing stuff. Sorry about that. The next one, when I build it with a custom collection, we'll do it completely with scratch. I won't copy anything from an existing implementation. Okay, just to be fair.
Great. I'm very curious on that.
Cool. Okay, let's refresh this page. And if I go in here and click on it, and it works now.
Okay, great.
All right, sweet.
Okay.
Any questions on this?
I think I will need this done as a custom collection, since when I use the blog, the standard blog schema, it's 2-column, and there's not much space for the gallery image. It's in the right column, and if my client adds 80 pictures, no, I don't want to see that.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, cool. Any questions from anybody else?
Okay.
No? Everybody's quiet. Okay.
Yeah, maybe, Joe.
Sure.
So in admin or setting up a new collection, it's the hierarchy is schema, then collection, yeah,
Mhm.
and then say blog, yeah,
Yes,
and within that say blog are then a list of properties.
correct.
Oh, good. So, when you did that just now, yeah, for this example,
Mhm.
the properties when you went to blog, the properties came up automatically. Are they preset, or is there
Yes,
a preset?
yes. So out of the box, all like blog properties, those are
Yeah.
all preset. You cannot change them.
Oh, good.
So like
Okay.
if I go into, you'll see if I go into the schemas, you'll see that all these sections under built-in schemas.
Yeah.
Okay. I click on that. All this
Ah.
is read only, basically.
Got
Okay.
it.
You cannot edit the built-in ones.
Fantastic.
Okay. If you go to custom schemas, this is a custom one. You'll see that I can edit, I can add new fields.
Yeah.
Okay. This could be, I can have a field called, Jeff, right?
Yeah.
If I wanted to. Okay. And you can add stuff. You can actually reorder them. Yeah. And you can, delete fields. You can do all kinds of stuff.
Right.
And without getting into the weeds too much here, you can actually click on this and then you can have properties, customizations about that particular field.
Yeah.
Like if you want to customize the label in the form, the placeholder in the form. So you have a lot of options in here of what you can do for every single field.
Yep. Brilliant.
Okay. One thing I don't think I've actually explained this to any before in a previous video. The order of these, it doesn't necessarily, what it will affect is the order of the fields in the form. Okay. So for example, if I go into blog, you'll see that it's draft featured ID title. Okay. And let's go into a blog form. Let's go into blog. You'll see that it's draft featured archive. You see, so it's the order of the fields in the schema will affect the order of the fields in the form.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So cool. Does that clear things up, Jeff?
It does, absolutely.
Excellent.
And then factory. Sorry, one other thing. Just to,
Sure.
I'm sorry to the other guys. I've been out of the loop for some while. So
I have to
No
say
worries.
sorry.
all right. Factory. Okay, the factory, which looks amazing.
Yes.
Is that based on? Is that AI driven?
It does not connect to any external services. It is all built. I mean, I'm calling it AI. It's kind of my own though, but it's all built inside Total CMS. It doesn't use any external services.
It's JI then.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, it has a bunch. Even if you noticed the all the images that were generated in the blog, like this is it. So these particular ones, these images, if you have a real photo like this is pulled down from a stock image service.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you'll notice, there are images like this that look like this.
Yeah.
These are generated images on the fly by your server.
Wow.
So it's just a random thing with shapes.
Yeah.
But generating these are a lot faster than trying to pull down stock images. So if you want to create 50 blog posts really quick, you can do it with this like lickety split. Your server will generate these images really fast.
Yeah.
But it'll take a little bit longer to generate if you wanted actual photos.
Sure.
Okay.
So for templating and just getting something together, that is really, really handy.
Yes.
Massive.
And what's awesome, if you notice
saver.
here, for like author, it even puts in something that looks like a name.
Yeah.
Right. And we have a lot of really cool stuff. If we go into looking for where's the docs for the factory?
Down.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. So there's a lot of stuff in the factory docs here. So we can do you can even do a black and white image shapes. You can do an image with a word on it.
Yeah.
You can generate a title of a male. You can do a name. You can do the name of a male, the name of a female.
Yeah.
You can do addresses, cities, longitude, latitude, so all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Wow.
And so this is pretty exciting. I think it's going to be a great feature.
Yeah, absolutely. Christ. Yeah, blimey. So that's answered that one. Lastly, sorry guys,
Mhm.
again.
No worries.
When you mentioned earlier that you were the TCMS 3 works in preview, yeah.
Yes.
So all of the data, yeah, you
Mhm.
don't necessarily, although like you, I prefer to obviously upload it, but
Yes.
sometimes it's really cool just to see it quickly in preview.
Yes.
Either or locally, right? That's what I'm talking about, locally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Locally. Correct.
Yeah. So is that true? Yeah. Is that what you were
Yes.
saying? Yeah. Good.
Yes. Yeah. So all the preview data is all local. Nothing is on the server at all.
Wow.
It's all generated locally.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's all very cool, Joe.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Let's go
Joe,
ahead. Yes.
Yeah, just a second. Maybe it helps Geoff and also others. Yesterday, to get my head around TCMS 3 a bit, I have done a graphic. I just posted it into the chat. Yeah. And I want to ask you, Joe, if I'm right with that. Is that correct? What I posted there.
Oh, sure. You know what? I just realized I didn't even have the chat open, and there was lots
No
of questions
problem.
in there.
Oh, brilliant.
Okay. Let me look at this image here really quick.
Yeah.
I can see it. Yeah.
Is it correct?
Let me
Or
download
not?
it
All
so
right.
everybody can see it.
It's an example for a blog. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So we have a collection, which is a blog. Okay. And then inside the collection, you have a blog post.
Yeah.
Several. Yeah.
And then that object, it has a schema. Okay. And then that schema defines properties.
Yeah.
So yes, I think this is valid. I think that's a
Okay.
valid representation of how things, because you have a collection of
Yeah.
objects. Those objects conform to a schema. That schema has properties.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Correct.
Thanks.
Now, there is the ability to. So let's say, for example, we have a schema. Okay. The
Mhm.
schema has all these properties, and these properties have various default values. Okay. Like, for example, I have a label of title. Okay. But if we go into this particular collection, I edit this collection. What you'll notice is right now I'm editing the collection, not the schema. Even though this looks like a symbol, it looks similar to what the schema is, I still have all of my fields here. Okay.
Mhm.
But what I can do here is I can go into draft and I can customize this, just for this particular collection.
Rename it to something
Yeah.
else. Yeah.
Like if you don't, and it doesn't rename the field, it just changes the labels in the form.
Yeah.
Right?
I meant it this way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yes. So this way, if you have a collection and you wanted to have the same fields, aka the same schema, you can still customize and override the forms
Yeah.
on a collection basis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Cool.
Can I
Let's
also
for
translate
example-
the left side of the menu?
Say that again.
Can I also translate the left side of the menu? Bill, block, color, data.
You mean this?
Yes, this.
No, the style of this is yeah. I mean, if you want to use the admin area that I built, you have to like the styles that I built.
But he can make a new collection and rename it as he wants it. Correct?
Yes. Well, I thought he was talking about renaming. Oh, yes. He talks about the name here. Yes, you can rename this.
Yes,
It can be like blog test, right? And I can rename that. And there, let's just refresh. And so yes, you can change the name over here.
Yeah, that's what he meant.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood your question.
Mhm.
So yes, you can rename things over here. Just like I created this gallery blog, okay, and I named it gallery blog. You can name it whatever you want. Okay, it doesn't need to be named blog. Okay, let's see. I wanted to show. A perfect example of this is, let's say draft. By default, it's a checkbox. But But let's say for this, I actually wanted it to be a toggle. Okay, so let's close that. Let's save. And now when I go into the collection, we'll see that draft is no longer a, oops, I have an issue with the help on there. I'll have to fix that. But it's no
great.
longer a checkbox like these. It's now a toggle.
That's great.
All right. That's a style bug. I'll make sure I fix that. Let me make a note of that 1 second.
Wow.
Okay, cool.
Okay, now
back. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a completely custom collection that does exactly what Matthias wants. So to do that, first we need to create a custom schema. Okay, so let's create a new schema, and we're gonna give this let's call it how about a better gallery? I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it better gallery. Why not? Okay. A gallery for Matthias. Oops, two T's.
You're always right. AI. it's IA.
Oh, it is? Oh
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Thank you.
I am a jerk. I am a jerk. Okay.
No problem.
And I'm just gonna save this really quick.
Yeah.
And then voila. Okay, so now it automatically adds ID in the required and indexed fields, which we'll talk about what those are in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on 1 second. I need to yell at my dogs because they are having a hissy fit. Sorry. The gardener is in the backyard, and that is like having, man, the most evil person in the universe right next to our back door. And they're going, we have 5 dogs. They're going berserk. Okay. Okay. So required fields are obviously fields that, well, actually, let's add the fields. So we have ID. Okay. And then we have, you said you need a title, correct?
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to go into here. That's going to be a string. I'm not going to worry about setting up. This is where you would set up the factory guys. So like this field would be a date or a country code or whatever, right? There's a bunch of examples in here that you can use. Okay. But yeah, we're not going to worry about that for right now.
Yeah.
Let's go into the form. Let's see our label. I know you're probably going to have this all in German. I'm just going to stick with English for right now.
Yep, no problem.
Okay. So we'll just do title, label title. Okay. And then, yeah, let's go next is going to be, you had details, right? Or description.
The same summary as on the blog list page. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's do description just so it's
or the name.
than
Yeah. Description. It's okay.
Yeah. Just okay. So in here, that's going to be string as well. We're going to go into here, and this is going to be. Let's say we want that to be a style text field.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's called description. Okay. We're going to close that. We're going to go into here. Next one's going to be an image.
No,
okay.
Not on the blog post page. Only the gallery.
Okay. But you still want to have I was thinking you would have an image that displayed like you would have one image that you set as like the image to show on the blog list.
Yes, but not on the blog post page, right? Since
no, but it still needs to be a property of that object.
Yeah, okay, do it. Yeah, it's okay.
Yep.
It's okay.
So this is going to be an image.
No problem.
Okay. And then obviously the field type is going to be an image. And we're going to do, I'll just call it main image. Why not? Okay, main image. Then we're going to add one more field, which is the gallery.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And that is a gallery field. And it is a gallery field. Label is gallery images.
Yeah.
Okay. You wanted a date field, correct?
Yes, for sorting the blog list, but it's okay. It can be on the blog post page also. It's no problem.
Okay. So that's going to be a date field. And we're going to do just date.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, if it was just for sorting purposes, you could just make this a number, or it doesn't need to be a date. It
Right.
doesn't have to. It could just be I mean, again, you don't have to think of this as a blog anymore, right? We have custom values, right? So if it was purely for sorting purposes,
it's
right?
the old thinking.
Yes. I mean, here,
Yeah.
just for fun, let's change things. I'm going to make this a number instead.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And let's just make it a number field. And we'll call this sort.
Yep.
Okay. And in here, I'm going to call that sort. Okay. Let's do save.
Yep.
All right. So if we reload this page, we should see now it has like all nice little icons. It knows what it is. So cool. So these are all of our fields that we want in our custom gallery. Okay. All right. So now let's go ahead and, by the way, let's talk about the required fields and index fields. So what are these? Okay. So let's go back to what Total CMS 1 is, and let's compare what this is to what Total CMS 1. Okay. We're all familiar with blog in Total CMS 1. Hopefully everybody is. And as you know, not all fields are available in the blog list.
Yeah.
Okay. And that is now called the index. Okay. So field properties that are added to the index are going to be available inside of, remember when we went on this gallery page and we used this loop stack? Okay. The fields that this loops through are accessible in the index. Okay. So for you, on the list page, we wanted to make sure we had title. Oops.
Yep.
There's just, we want title, we want the image, and we want the description, and you want the sort. Basically everything except gallery. Correct?
Yep.
Okay. And a required fields, let's make sure we get we want to make sure we have a description, gallery, image here. We want all of them. We want to make sure all fields are required. Okay. When you save, all fields are required, and the index is just those without gallery. Yeah, let's save that. All right. So now let's go ahead and create a collection. And let's create a new collection. Let's just call this Better Gallery, since that's kind of what we called it before. It could be whatever, right? The collection name doesn't need to be the same as the schema name. Okay. And then here I can select the schema that we're gonna use, which is Better Gallery, and we're gonna save that.
Okay.
All right. And you see here, I didn't want to, but if you wanted to, then you can override all these fields, here.
Okay. And the URL we'll put later on.
Yeah, we'll do that later.
Okay.
All right. So let's go ahead, and now that we've kind of created, and now Total CMS 3 is very important that you understand your data. Okay. Because here I need to know what my collection is. I need to know the names of all the fields that we need to have access to. Okay. And on top of that, I need to know what fields are inside the index. Right? Because if it's not in the index, I can't access it. Right? All right. So let's go ahead here. Let's actually create some. Now I didn't set up the factory, so we're gonna have to just manually do this. I'm gonna do a new object in here. Okay. And let's just do okay. Let's just do image. Gallery was failing before. Let's see what's going to happen today. Right now, let's see. Okay. And sort, let's do like a 1. Okay.
Yeah.
And here, let's put in multiple images in there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And let's save. Oh, ID.
Oh no, the gallery probably.
Gallery, it's probably gallery. Right. Actually, one thing I didn't do. Let's see, live test. All right, I want this ID field just for fun. I want this ID to be tied to the title.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So let's fix that.
Yeah.
We're gonna go into here. we're going to go into the ID. Okay. And it is in, I'm just going to copy paste an example from the blog because I know it has it. This right here. Oops. Copy that. Go into here, ID field, and settings. All right. So what this does, these settings in here, there's specific settings for different types of fields. Okay. I'll eventually have documentation for all this, but right now, if we have an ID field, okay, an ID field, I can set this auto gen setting. And what I can do is here, what it does is it's going to look at whenever I change the title field, it will automatically create an ID based on that title. And what's kind of cool is you can actually do multiple things. So like I could be like title dash, I don't know, like, field 2, like here, let's do like, I can do like sort or something like that, right? So you can base the ID off multiple fields. We have a title field and a sort field. I can base that ID off that, okay? And there's other cool stuff we could do in here. Like if I did dollar, I think it's UUID. We can do a UUID. I can also do dollar, I think it's now, okay? And that will put in the timestamp, right? So pretty cool. Let's just stick with the title for now, though.
Yeah.
Okay, let's close that. Save. Now, because I already created a collection for this, I'm going to actually go ahead and edit the collection, go into here, and add it into here as well. Because before I updated the schema, but since I already created this collection, this collection already has a specific instance. So if I wanted to update that setting, I would need to update it here as well. If that makes sense. All right. So now let's go into here and let's create a new object and live test. Now, when I create that, it automatically creates that here. Okay. And if this object already existed, this would turn red. Okay. Maybe I showed an example when we create a second object. This would turn red, and it wouldn't let me save this until I, provided a unique identifier for this particular one. Okay. Which is also beneficial. Like if you were to use like that now, it kind of ensures that it's unique because it's a timestamp for right now, right? So that it's not going to exist already in the database if you're adding a timestamp to the end of the ID, if that makes any sense. Okay. All right, so let's do that. And I'm just going to add an image because again, in the build I have on my machine, the gallery's broken. Sorry.
No problem. Yeah.
Okay. Let's save that.
Oh, great. Okay.
All right. So there we go. So now I have this one. Let's go ahead and let's create another object.
Yep.
And just for fun, I'm going to do live test here as well. And you'll see now it's red. Okay. Because it knows that already exists. I can't create an object. Now what's kind of cool is I can go in here and type new. I can manually edit this. Okay. And it will as well. Right. So if I still wanted to make sure my title was this, you can manually edit that. Okay. And let's just do. So it's different. All right. And let's do a different image. And I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do this one 3.
2. Oh, 3. Okay.
And then the next one I add, I'm going to do 2.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right. So now, let's go back in here. Someone actually, Bill Burden said there needs to be an add new button right away. I think that would be a good thing, especially now that I've just done that 3 times.
Yeah.
So it's different. This one, and we'll do 2 on this one. Another thing I should point out is all the fields that you see on this collection page are the index fields.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So anything that is added to the index gets displayed here. And as you see, these tables are sortable. So you can sort by, all of these fields as well. Okay.
Correct.
And you can actually, if you didn't know, you can actually highlight these and make them, you can resize them as well, which is kind of cool.
Great.
Okay. And if you had a lot, there's pagination down at the bottom. So like if we went to, I think this one has a lot, right? So if you see there's two, I can go to page 2, so on and so forth. Okay. And then there's live filtering as well. So we can search for, network, and, there's live filtering of all of this data as well. And it filters all pages, not just the current page you're on, which is nice. All right. But let's get back to this. So we now have 3. Let's just deal with that right now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so now that we have data, let's go ahead and build out our pages. So, and I said we were going to do a new one. So here, I do want to keep this shell of my page. Let's just call this better gallery. Okay. Let's go ahead and I promise we're going to do it from scratch. So there we go. Okay. So now we have a completely blank page. Okay. I do have a block grid on here because I want to use a grid.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and let's do, here it is. All right. So we want to do now this is a custom collection. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're down in the layout helpers, there's a bunch of different loop stacks. Okay. Now before we use loop blog, and there's also loop feed and loop gallery. Okay. But those are specific to a blog, a feed, and a gallery. Since we have a custom collection, we're going to use the loop stack.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh dear.
All right. All right. So here we have a loop stack. And I know that my loop stack, I want to create a block grid cell for each item in the loop.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's configure this loop stack. First off, our collection is better gallery. That makes sense? Okay.
Yeah.
And my loop variable, I'm going to call it gallery. Okay, because each instance of the loop is a gallery. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Right. Just as if I were doing a blog, each instance is a post.
Okay. Got
This
it.
is-
Got it.
Each instance is a gallery.
Yeah.
Right. Each one is a gallery.
Okay.
So yeah. Okay. And let's not do filtering or sorting yet.
No.
All right, let's just get it working. Okay, so now inside there, each individual one, we want first we want an image. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go into the content stacks and we find the image. So I drag the image in there. And first off, so this is where things can potentially get confusing. Okay. So right now, by default, the image stack will display images from the image collection. Okay. So inside Total CMS 3, there is by default, there is an image collection. Okay. So if I want here, let me just drag this out really quick. If I wanted to display this particular image, which has an ID of demo image, okay, all I would have to do is add this to the page and type demo image because that's the ID of my object. And this would display that image. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. However, I want to display an image that's not inside the image collection. Okay. So to do that, we'll drag it back into the grid cell. You'll see that there's a checkbox here for custom collection and property. So I'm going to check that. And because again, we don't want the image collection. This is in a custom collection, and our custom collection is better gallery, right?
Yeah.
Remember, that's the name of our collection. Okay. And the property here, it is image, right? I want to display the image property, right? This could be anything though. Like let's say it could be screenshot or something like that, right? And it depends on what your collection is. In this case, it is just an image. Okay, the name of the property is image.
And the object ID can stay
Yep.
demo image?
No. So
Oh.
this is where I wanted to get into. That's not the confusing part. I think that's pretty straightforward. We wanted a custom collection and a property. Now,
Yeah. Yeah.
we are inside of a. Actually, I'm gonna drag this out. Okay, and let's say object ID. Now let's go into my better gallery. Okay, and I have ID of live test third one and live test new one. Okay, so I could go in here and I can type live-test, and this will work. Okay, here, actually, let's go ahead and publish this page so we can see it. Better dash gallery.
But it's not dynamically.
Exactly. It's gonna be hard coded.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Right. So let's better dash gallery. Right. And as you see there, that is my image from the better gallery.
Yeah.
But we don't want it static. We want it dynamic. Okay. So if you remember, okay, inside the loop stack, we created a variable called gallery. Okay. And actually, if you look inside the title of this, it gives us a little hint. Okay. We'll see we have curly braces, gallery.id, and curly braces. Okay. So, and if you look here, there's a setting here for use variables. Okay.
Oh dear.
So I want this object ID to be dynamic. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say the object here is a variable. Okay. And that variable is gallery.id.
Oh no. Okay.
Okay. Now.
Yeah. I hope so.
Oops. There we go.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I know that can be a little confusing, so please ask questions so I can help you understand.
I'm certainly not going to be using custom.
Right?
Sorry.
Okay.
That's
I
okay.
have to-
No, it's good to know. But wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, carry on, Joe.
Okay. So now the rest, I think that was the trickiest part. I think the rest is pretty simple. Okay, so we're gonna go. Oops, I don't want that. I want
title, summary, gallery.
Yep, exactly. All right, so let's go ahead and let's just use the tech stack. Okay. Well, actually, you know, we want to use foundation. We're cool around here. We want to use Foundation 6 header stacks and stuff like that, right? So we want to be cool, right? So I'm going to use a Foundation 6 header stack directly below the image.
Joe is cool.
Yeah. Right. And I want to inside this title. Okay. Make it an H3. I want to add the title of the gallery.
Yeah.
Okay. So in here, I just type in curly brace, gallery dot title.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. And then below that, we wanted the summary.
Just
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll
Or
make that a
Okay.
I'll just make it in the header. You can make it a paragraph. So I'll just make it a paragraph.
Yeah.
And then in here, we'll just do summary. Or I think I did description, just to be different. Okay. Right. So now I have the title and the description.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's publish that.
Okay. Yep.
There we are.
Great, Joe. And if the gallery would be working it doesn't do today. But if it would be working, how would I have to configure the gallery?
Yep. So let's go ahead. So this is the list page. Now we want to make sure we can click on this and go into the post page. Okay?
This is you're right. This is the blog list page. Yeah.
This is the blog list page
Yeah,
because
yeah,
we
yeah.
see everything. Okay.
I get it. Yeah.
All right. So now let's go ahead and I'm just going to let's just duplicate this. Okay, and I'm just going to call this gallery. Right.
Post.
Post, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And then in here, let's do this was slash better dash gallery, and I'm going to do gallery.php. Why not?
Okay.
Okay. Out in here, we're going to start from scratch. Okay. So, all right. So here, maybe at the, I don't know, maybe at the very top. Well, actually, first we need to. So when I click on this, okay, this page, we need to load in the object that is getting passed via the URL. Right. Let me explain what I mean by that. Okay. Let's go to a blog. Okay. And I'm going to click on this particular blog post. Okay. Now let's look at the URL. If we look at the URL here, we'll see that the ID of that particular blog post is passed via the URL. Do you understand that? Right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So depending on what ID is passed to the URL, it needs to load this particular blog post. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's principally just like in TCMS1.
Exactly. It's the same exact thing as TCMS1. Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. So, now in Total CMS1, the blog post stack did that for us. Okay. Now, what we're going to use right now is inside there is data loaders. Okay, in Total CMS3. Okay, and you'll notice that there is an object data loader. Okay. Oops.
Yes.
Okay. So we want to load an object. Okay. And now you can statically type in our collection obviously is better gallery. Okay. Does that make sense? Right.
Yes.
Now, you can go ahead and manually type in, let's say, live-test, and it would load that exact object.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's not what we want. We want to load it from the URL. So what I can do is I'm going to click load from URL. Okay.
Yeah.
So now just on the list, we want to load this and give it a name. Okay. Now by default, it's object, but we can change that, right? So this is a gallery. So I'm going to use gallery.
At this point, you can use a name what you want, or
whatever you want, right?
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, I'm calling it gallery because that's
It's
what
okay.
this is. If this was a car, I would say car.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't mean to do that. Or if it was a blog post, I would use post, or if it, whatever, right? But we are loading a gallery, so I'm going to call it gallery. All right. So now we want to, now that we have the data from that object loaded, we need to display the data.
Yeah.
Okay. So at the top, let's say I want to have that main image again, just for fun. Okay. Just to have it again. So I'm going to go ahead and say the main image. Okay. And just like we did before, we're doing a custom collection, which is better gallery. Okay. The property is image. Okay. And just like we had before, we're going to have, we're going to load in gallery.id.
Yes.
Right. Because it's asking us for the object ID.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, I could type in live test and not use variables, but that's not useful for us here.
That's static. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. So we want to tell it we need to tell it where the object ID is, and we do gallery.id. Okay.
Yeah.
So now at this point, it's going to load in the image that we added here. Okay. Then essentially, I'm just going to go here. I'm just going to be lazy. I'm going to copy because this is all the same. Okay.
Yeah,
So I'm just going to paste that. I want to have a header. The header is going to be, again, because I used the same variable called gallery. Remember, I said it here. I would use that here as well.
Oh, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So, so now I have the gallery title, the gallery description, and let's say then below this, I want to load in the gallery.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, here in the content stacks, there is a gallery stack. Okay. So we're gonna load the gallery in. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that doesn't look too great inside edit mode. What the heck? I'll have to fix that. All right. So same exact thing like in object. Okay. So we have gallery. We're loading it from a custom collection, and the collection is called better dash gallery. And the property here is, I think we called it gallery, I think, right? I assume we did. Again, this is why we need to know our data. Okay. So if I go into better gallery, or let's go into the schema actually. I called it gallery.
Yeah.
Okay. So, so now I need to go into here. The property is going to be gallery. Okay. Now we have the same thing. I could set this object ID to be live test, but that doesn't help us, right? Because that's going to always load the live test object. Okay. So we need to load the object from a variable, and we need to tell it what that ID is. And that ID is gallery.id.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And at that point, there's various settings here for the images.
Oh, that's
I'll
okay.
leave them as the defaults. Okay. But at that point, this is done.
Okay.
All right. Let's go ahead and let's publish that.
Yeah. We won't see gallery images, but otherwise everything should be okay.
Correct. All right, so it was better dash gallery. Okay, so this is my the list page. Now remember, if I went to, now I haven't set up the links to these yet. We will. Okay, but let's just make sure that my page works. I'm going to go to gallery.php, and then I'm going to load in an ID automatically. I'm going to just do ID equals live dash test.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
Right, and there it is.
Works.
Okay. So now let's go ahead and let's create the linking so that when we click in the list page, it goes to this page.
Yeah.
Okay. Oops. What the heck? I'm just going to copy this URL. Okay. And then we're going to go into the admin area. I'm going to go into my collection for better gallery. I'm going to edit that collection, and I'm going to save this URL.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So now we want to use that link inside this grid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there is where's the object link stack? Where
you have to make
there it is. It's
unique icons.
Layout. Yeah, I need to have icons. It's coming. It's just low priority right now.
I know.
Layout helpers. There's an object link stack. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna add that into here, and I want the whole thing. I'll just add the image in there for now.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
Okay. So you click on the image, and it takes you there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's also an object button. If you wanted to add that down here, you can have a button that goes there too. Let's do both. Why not?
Yeah,
Okay.
That's great. Yeah.
Okay. So here's an object link. Okay. So first we need to give it an object, or the object. I shouldn't change this to be object ID. Okay. We need to give it object ID, and by default it's post.id. Okay. But remember, we're using gallery. Okay. So I'm going to rename that to gallery.id, and then my collection is better dash gallery.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all you need to know. That's all we need to do. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, if at any point in time you wanted to link to a different URL than the one that is saved inside the CMS, you can do add custom link, and then you can link to any page you wanted. Okay. But I strongly urge you to save it inside the CMS. Okay. This is important because eventually when we have like Total CMS doesn't yet create sitemaps and stuff like that for us and RSS feeds. But when it does, it's going to use this URL to generate the RSS feeds and sitemap files for us. Okay, so saving it inside the collection is going to be a very important step. Okay.
Yeah.
And the same thing, like, so I have a button down here. It would just be the same thing. So this is going to be gallery.id. And the collection is better-gallery. And now I can click on the image, or I can click on this button. And let's go.
Oops. Okay.
Refresh this. All right, so now if I click on this, it takes me to that.
Great.
Right? If I click on the button, it takes me there. If I click on these, right, and it takes me there. Perfect. All right, so now let's worry about the sorting. Right, because you want to make sure you can adjust the sort.
Yeah.
Okay. So inside the loop stack, okay, I had skipped this earlier, but we can go ahead and set sort. Okay. Now you'll notice that it added stacks into here, and the reason I do that is because you can actually have multiple levels of sorting in Total CMS. So in this case, we only want to sort by one field. Okay, and we want to sort by we created a field called sort.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the number.
Right. Right. And you can do reverse sort and all that stuff here.
Yeah.
Okay. Natural. You might want to, if you're doing number based, you might want to do natural sort. So that if it sorts by 10 and greater, it's probably better. Right? So at that point, that's all we have to do is you sort by that particular field. And so if we look at these, it's live test, third one, test one, right? And if we sort that, let's publish. Let's, if I do reverse sort now.
Yeah.
Just so it changes things. There we go. Now it's reversed. Right. So it's sorting by. We don't need to display that field. That field's not displayed anywhere.
Yeah.
It's just used for the sorting purposes.
Oh, great. Yeah. Oh, Joe, thank you. That's great. Now I can work on the solution for my client.
All right, let me look through the chat here. I'm going to stop my presenting for right now, and let's. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Let me go through the chat and see if there's any questions in here.
I've got a few, Joe. If you
sure, yeah, here, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. What are your questions?
The oh right, so okay, image. Are we Do we have to specify JPEG, PNG?
No, we're not restricted. So you can upload a JPEG and it'll convert to WebP, PNG, JPEG, whatever you want.
Yeah. SVG now, do we still have to upload the code?
So with SVG, there's going to be two ways you could potentially do it. If you want to upload an SVG file, what I'd recommend is just using a depot actually, or a file. Okay. I do have a specific SVG object.
Brilliant. That's it. That's all. Yeah.
Yep. But that is storing the SVG code itself. So it is you would paste that code.
That's
but then
what
you
I'm
can
used to
put the
doing.
SVG on the page.
I'm really happy doing that. Yeah. So that's fantastic. Yeah, I understand that completely. I'm sorry, guys. Some of these are right.
No, if you have that question, I'm sure many others do. So it's fine.
I can't read my own writing now. Oh yes, actually yes. This is in no particular order.
Okay.
So I would like to. My personal site is so old, right? Like all designers, you are your own worst client.
Yeah.
And like you, I've skipped from version 1 to version 3 to version 10.
Yep.
Right now. It's all Total CMS, obviously. Can I use that license to experiment with my site? Yeah. Obviously on a subdomain. Yeah. With version 3. Yeah.
Yes. So as of right now, there are really no restrictions to the beta version. And moving forward, it'll behave exactly like Total CMS licenses do now, right? So you'll be able to use it on a subdomain for testing purposes, and then the main domain as well. Same license.
Because I've got everything in there: video, galleries, the whole shit. Pretty URLs, yeah.
Yes.
I've always had a problem with this. I think like a lot of other people, in version 1, yeah.
Sure.
Changing the HT access, God, it's a black art.
So we can't get around the HT access stuff.
No.
You have to have it. Right? It's just how it works. Okay.
It's where you put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the whole process where currently you have like this light box that pops up and you can't save. That process is better because now when I pasted that URL to the file in the collection, I didn't make it pretty. Okay. However, you would instead just paste in basically what your pretty URLs is without the ID.
Yeah.
Okay. You would save that, and then inside, if you notice, like in the object link stack and the object button stack, there was a setting there for pretty URL. And if you had configured pretty URLs, you would check that box, and then it would do things properly.
Yeah. Brilliant. That's brilliant.
Now one other thing I didn't show it because I haven't built it yet is I do plan on having an HT access rule builder inside the admin area.
Right. That's cool.
Yeah.
That is really cool. Yeah.
Yes. Because I definitely want to make it easier.
Yeah.
Joe, can you show it how it looks like for a customer at the back end?
Well, it depends. If you want to give your customer the access to the live admin area, like the pre-built admin area, you can. It doesn't look any different. But you can also build your own custom admin areas. I showed that earlier. Maybe I think you joined maybe a little late. Here, let me just show that again really quick.
I think it's about the preview. You have to still save the post first for the preview.
Yes. In order to preview it, Total CMS. Okay. Was that the question, Marcelo?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have put a URL to it. So if I don't want that the customer change the URL,
yes. So that's why there is, there's going to be different levels of access so that I haven't built all of that yet. Okay. But there will be different levels of access so that you can set your customer to do certain things or have access to certain things, or you can completely lock it down and build their own admin area, just like we have nowadays, where you can really only fine tune the access of things you want them to be able to do. Okay. Now, do we have live preview. I know I saw that Johan created a question asking, how do we solve the previewing my blog post question, right? Issue. So one of the main features of Total CMS, and this is one of its core philosophies, is separating your design from your content. Okay. Total CMS manages your content. You manage the design. Okay. So with that said, Total CMS has no clue. It doesn't care what your design is. It manages all of your data. Okay. However, there are things you could do, like let's say if you were to set a web page or a blog post as a draft, okay, you can make it so that you can still preview that blog post on their actual live blog page, even though it doesn't show up, right? So, you know, obviously, let's say the loop stack, you would hide everything that is, by default, it hides drafts, okay? But you would hide everything that's draft. And then if, as a customer is drafting a blog, post, you could, we can create like a little link to that blog post on where it will be when it's finally live, and then display that even though it's not live and active on the web page. Does that make sense? Right? Yep. And to be honest, you can actually do that now with Total CMS. There's nothing stopping you from doing that right now in the current version either, right? Set it as a draft. Hide by default, all drafts are hidden from the blog list. And then, you can just create a little URL, put it on the blog form page. Obviously, they have to save the blog post before you can see it, right? So they could save. And at that point, they could just, click on a link that, and they could view the draft blog post live on the web page, on the actual web page. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Johan,
I always call you. Do I pronounce your name properly? Is it Johan or is it pronounced some different way?
Johan.
Johan. Okay, excellent.
It's not easy.
Okay, excellent.
It's very easy. Johan.
Johan, yeah. Okay.
For the German.
I mean, it's not hard to see. Johan is easy, but yeah, I just wanted to make sure that
that's
how
wrong.
it was pronounced.
No, I'm in Denmark and all say Johan. So.
Oh, really?
Okay.
So does version 3 get rid of the, and I think it does, the global post URL requirement? In other words, this is a lot more freeform for a designer, which I am. I'm not a, I think we are photographers, whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
That's all. Even though I was part of the early version 1 beta, as you know.
Yeah.
I never got my head around the fact that you had to give a global or a generic post URL within TCMS within CMS.
So I mean, we still kind of have that. Again, it's as you saw, I saved that URL in the collection. Okay.
Well,
and
precisely. Yes, this is what.
Yes.
So that's where the freedom lies. Is within this collection, you can dictate wherever. You can be absolutely free about where that.
Yes.
Within that collection.
Correct.
And I keep referring to Matthias's graphic. It's absolutely fantastic. I mean, thank you for that, because that gives me the hierarchy.
Yes.
Which I need as a design. I need to think visually. I think, and I work visually. Like many of us here, I guess.
Yep. Exactly.
we're trying to get inside your head, Joe. So that's brilliant. If I may, one last question. Okay.
Sure.
I'm sorry,
no worries. That's why we're here.
In admin, I have a couple of clients that have events. Okay. And that's great. I've got calendar stacks there that deal with that on the page. The one thing they can't do is add a button in admin. Okay.
Would they want to add a button?
So, for
Explain-
example, in summary, not in summary necessarily, but in the main content or extra content, whatever, currently, yeah, to be able to just go up to and go add button, give it a title and add a link, which I could obviously then style, CSS.
So you're talking like within the style text engine, you want to just add a button. Okay.
Yeah.
So
that'd be absolutely brilliant.
Sure. What I would like to do, I haven't done much work on the style text engine in Total CMS 3 yet. Currently, once you install it, you have like bold, italic, and I think that's like it. Okay. I haven't done any work on it other than it saves and it works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
One thing I would like to do, and this, I hate to tie features to Total CMS, or I'm sorry, to Foundation, but I think I would like to add some special features for Foundation users that are like add a Foundation button, right?
Yeah.
I could probably make it Bootstrap compatible as well, right? So that and at that point you can just have like a drop down that has some certain UI components.
Yeah.
And I like to give people that purchase my other tools a little benefits. So if you own Foundation, there'll probably be extra stuff in there for Foundation since I own that entire ecosystem, right? Yeah. So I could probably make it super easy so you can add a Foundation 6 button directly inside the style text.
Yeah.
That's definitely something I would like to do.
Yeah, I mean, a button is actually pretty generic anyway, isn't it? So
yeah, but I mean,
it's a baked-in.
It's hard to make sure that the style works everywhere.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The color, the padding, the roundness, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the crux of the problem there is making sure that you style it exactly to look part of the website.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's quite interesting. I personally disable anything to do with font colors, sizes.
Yeah,
I
agree. I agree 1,000%. Yes.
If I give them that, I've noticed over all the years they'll experiment with purple type. Jesus.
Oh
Christ.
yes.
Capitals.
On a pink background,
Italic, pink background, italics. Jesus Christ.
And then they'll make the text different sizes and all kinds of stuff. You're just like,
So
what'd you do?
I know. I really
this was beautiful when I gave it to you.
Yeah, tying down,
Yep. Hey, any other questions? I think we covered everything in the chat. If there's anything else, any other questions or things you'd like me to show off?
Joe, can you hear me?
Yes.
I would like to know this. 3 questions I had. What was the solution you had for backup the items on the Total CMS in the 3 locations? What is the option you choose for version backup for the data?
Backing up in 3 locations. So Total CMS saves the data in a folder on your server. Okay, all the data is stored as just raw. Everything in Total CMS is saved as something called a JSON file. It is a plain text file that is easily readable anywhere. It is an open standard, which is why I chose that particular format on how data is saved. Now, currently, Total CMS, the default behavior is it saves that. It's called TCMS data is the name of the current version is CMS data. The version 3 will save it to a folder called TCMS data. And it by default it is at the root of your website. However, which is a nice feature is you'll be able to customize the location of this folder. Okay. So you'll be able to take that folder and actually move it outside of your website. Okay. Which is actually a really amazing feature for security and all kinds of purposes, especially now that Total CMS will have, you can actually store username and, data, in the CMS, like login data, although your raw passwords are not saved in the text files. It is all encrypted, but the ability to move that outside and store it outside, so none of the data is accessible with direct URL paths, is a huge feature. Now, in terms of backups, Total CMS currently doesn't do any backups. It is up to you and your host to make sure that you have routine backups of your web server. Most hosting companies do a minimum of weekly backups so that that folder will be saved and backed up.
Scott Williams has a stack to back up a certain directory.
Nice, cool.
Yeah, it's called, I think, TCMS backup or CMS backup.
Yep. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm sure he'll be able to update that to work with TCMS 3, since it's just it's the same concept as CMS 1.
Yeah, you give the stack. You give any folder on your server, and this is backed up, so it will work.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah. Eventually, I've built in hooks that in the future I might offer some sort of CMS data offsite backup service, so that whenever you save data, it'll save it to like Amazon AWS or something like that. I don't know. I don't know if I want to have that level of responsibility, to be honest with you, but it's something I've built to make that feature possible. Okay. Again, I haven't decided. I'm not committing to implementing that because there's a lot of obviously, sensitive data potentially in there. And that needs to be definitely siloed and protected for, each individual user's sake. But it's something I'm researching and willing to potentially do in the future.
All right. About the backup, why I asked for version, say, for instance, if I want to use Total CMS and I want to have other users, some of the users have a learning curve, and if they mess up and to go back to their previous version, they may get stuck. And so I said, well, it's backed up, but they may not know how. And if I go back and show them how, and if they break something, I have to go back and get them back. Because one of the applications I'm considering will have other users who could put data in there. And it'll be backed up, but it'll be version. Where did you go from here? Where this is where you started?
So Total CMS, the current version actually does that to some extent. And I have not built that feature yet into Total CMS 3. I do think there's room for improvement, and also the current Total CMS actually has zero UI built around restoring any of those backups that it creates. Yeah, Total CMS 3 doesn't have that. It won't have that before launch, but it's definitely something I would like to potentially do. Maybe even like potentially integrating with an actual version source control system would kind of be interesting. But yeah, that's all just ideas in my head at this point. So right now it doesn't have that. It won't have it for launch. I don't have a timetable on when or if I will add that. We'll see based on user feedback and prioritization of what needs to be added in the future.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it.
No problem.
So please let me ask again. Have I understand it right that there can be more than one customers? So one can change the text and the build, and another one can change this and the gallery. So there are more accessibilities.
So you want to update? You want to give people access to certain properties within a object? Is that correct?
Yes. So the sheaf can do more than the other one.
Okay. So to get that level of granularity, you would create a custom page that the particular user would have access to. And you can actually, in Total CMS 3, create a form that only updates particular fields in the form, right? So let's say you want to give access to somebody to only update, like you said, the gallery, okay? You can actually create a form for a object that only updates the gallery, not all fields. So yeah, that should solve your problem. It's not something that I won't have that level of granularity in terms of access control in the built-in, in the pre-made admin area, but it definitely is something you could do on a custom admin page.
Okay. And it's saved like page save before, or
I'm building. It will have its own user access system. I'm actually currently actively developing that as we speak.
so
it's
we
not
have
something I
one
can show
start
you yet.
side, and if this is one side. So if another password, another page opens, or
it'll behave. So if you go to a page, there'll be like a centralized login page that you'll log into, and then it will just basically redirect back to where you were before. And then the page will be reloaded with whatever access permissions you've determined are needed, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Great.
I also plan on, I don't know if it'll be for launch or after, but I do want to also do like Google authentication and stuff like that, so that if you prefer to use if you require two-factor authentication or something like that, I'll provide various services such as Google authentication if you don't want to use the built-in login system.
Oh, great. Maybe with log in with emails, so you get an email and click on the link.
Yeah, by default, it'll be email and password. It won't be just passcode like PageSafe is. I like that, but I think Total CMS really needs the email password authentication. So we'll have email and password. I think currently I have in the user profile field, I have here. I'll share. This doesn't work, okay, but I'll share with you.
But that is not a part with the CMS system.
Doch.
Okay.
Yes, it is built into Total CMS.
Okay.
It will be. Again, I'm working on that as we speak. So here's an example. Oh, my image broke, but oh wow, what did I do here? As you see, this is my local development server, okay? But you'll see I have ID. You can you can set a user as active or inactive. You'll have their full name, so you can have a name, an email, the password, a user profile picture, right? So you would load in user profile, okay? And then here you would have, you can add multiple groups. So you could be like, this is he's a part of admin and team and whatever else, okay? So you'll be able to add various groups. Then you can set those group levels on various pages. So like people can load this page are in this team and so on and so forth, right? So you can add multiple groups to a person. And then I thought an interesting feature was adding the ability to have an account expiration. So like you can set a date where this account will no longer be able to log in, right? So you can set an expiration date on the account. So that's currently what I'm actively working on.
Maybe if you have a little bit of time, you can you can only put 5 times a row a password and then you blocked for the time.
Yeah,
So,
I do want to add some sort of logic like that, but I mean, people that are going to do stuff like that, they're just going to VPN out, get a new IP, or change, go to a different browser and just keep going. So I do plan on trying to address that to some extent, so that you don't get pounded by various requests. But I mean, these guys out there are pretty clever, and they're just just VPNing to a different place is just gonna give them a new IP address and not gonna be able to track them anymore. So it's kind of like playing whack-a-mole, if you know what that game is,
Yeah. Well, you know that.
Yeah.
Joe, any
question?
timetable for the next beta and what will it contain? I need file and depot, you know that.
Yes. This beta is a user authentication.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm going to try to do search for loop.
Okay.
And then after that, a timetable depends on how fast this authentication thing really goes. So I am about 40% there, I think. I would like to have beta 9 shipped
by Friday.
If not, no, probably at the fastest would be next Friday.
Okay.
That would be my goal. Okay. And then after that, beta 10 has file depot and file chunking.
Okay, so a month or 6 weeks from now.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would say a month.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
A month. Okay.
Yeah. I don't think depot and file should be that difficult. They're
No,
really not.
do it.
I don't think that they're much different than image and gallery. Actually, in fact, they're kind of easier because I don't need to process the image and do all kinds of fancy stuff with it. It's just taking the file that you upload and plopping it in a folder. The file chunking will be a challenge. I think we talked about that before.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, that's definitely the bigger item in beta 10. It's something I really, really, really want because I know people want to upload large files, and file chunking is definitely required for that.
Would be great if a depot on the user side would have some sort of switching from list view to icon view and so on, and to directly download stuff.
Yeah. We'll have just like I have Loop Blog, we'll have Loop Depot, and you can build it to look however you want.
Okay, great. Okay.
Yep. If you want it to look like a list, you make a list.
Yeah.
Right. Now, probably for launch, I'll probably as you saw, the stacks right now are very on the custom side, right? You could build whatever you want, right? Like the blog, it's just a loop, and you can build in whatever layout you want. If you want it to be a block grid, or if you want to use Bento, you can, right? I mean, you can use whatever you want. Okay. But I do think it would be nice to have like a pre-made blog list, somewhat like what the current Total CMS is. I'll be honest, probably a little simpler. I think the current blog list stack in Total CMS grew and had lots of features added onto it. But basically, my goal would be I want someone to be able to get a blog up and running in like a minute in Total CMS 3. Okay, just add in this stack to the page, done. Like, there might be some tweaks and settings to change some things, but it'll just be like, if you want a basic blog, I would love to have blog in 60 seconds. Like, that is kind of my goal. Okay, to be able to have a blog in 60 seconds. Again, it might not be exactly what you want. You might want a custom layout. And if you want the custom stuff, then you can build all of that, but that won't be in 60 seconds, right?
But each blog post can have its own depot, right? Right.
Yes. If you create a custom collection that is a blog, right? You can't modify the existing blog, but you can create my ultimate blog schema, and then you can add a depot to that. Correct.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I've got loads more questions, but I might do that on the site. Oh, sorry, Marcelo.
Marcelo, why don't you go first?
Last question.
Sure. What's up, Marcelo?
Sometimes I see a pen floating on the red side. Maybe you explained this before, but what is this?
A pen.
It's only an icon to symbolize what type of field it is. A pen for the text field and an image icon.
Okay.
I think that's what he meant. I don't know.
Here, let me share my screen. I'll make sure that
the admin side or the front end. It's on
sure. Here, let me share again.
Yeah, you see, there's a pen on the right side. No.
Oh, these?
Stay. Okay.
Yeah. That is just sorry. Here, let's go to one that isn't. All of them are broken. Sorry. Here, let's go to my other working one here. Here. Okay. So all of these icons.
No. Go back to the other side. To the side before.
Oh,
no.
This one?
No. Yes, there. There is a pen. Maybe.
Where?
Oh,
no,
this.
Yeah, there.
Oh, that's a browser extension. Yeah, that's not Total CMS. That adds like an AI kind of spell checker and grammar and all kinds of stuff. It's called Linguist. But yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's a browser extension. Good question though. Good eyes. Jeff, what was your question?
I kind of forget now. But I do have other questions, but I've been out of the loop for a year, so I don't really want to ask them here. Yeah.
No. Oh, okay. Well,
Are you
I mean, you
Are
should,
you sure,
you should feel
guys?
free to.
Have
It's
you got
fine.
literally 2 minutes? This will
Sure.
take. All right.
Sure.
So, in the 12 months loop, yeah, please
Mhm.
just give me the quick concept on the loop
Okay. So,
process.
so have you used feeds at all? My
No,
feed
well, I
stack?
have. I've tried
My
to.
feed
and
stack.
Yes.
Okay. So feeds, it takes let's say an RSS feed.
Yeah.
And it goes and it loops through each item in the feed.
Yeah.
Okay, and parses it, parses that individually. Same thing in Total CMS. The loop will loop through your collection.
Right.
Actually, it loops through an index. Okay.
Right.
It'll loop through your collection index.
Yeah.
And it'll for each instance inside of that loop, here maybe it's better if I show. Okay, so
That'd be cool.
all right, let's take this example here where that I just built for this better gallery.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here is the loop stack.
Yes.
Okay. And everything inside of it gets applied to each item in each iteration of the loop.
Right.
Right. Right. So like if we go back to, let's find the page for that. Oops. Wrong keyboard shortcut. All right. So this page in RapidWeaver is this page.
Yep.
Online.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And as you see here, it creates it looped through the collection, okay, the index, and it displayed 3 because there's only 3, right? We only created 3 objects.
Yeah.
So it looped through and it applied this layout that we built here to
Yeah.
each individual object.
Right.
And then it displayed each one. Now, if I had 10 here, it would do the same thing for all 10 of them.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Now, what might confuse some people is I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead. I'm going to just add a container down here. Just add like a py.
Another blog list.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this.
It's the difference between that and a blog list.
Yes, the loop is a blog list, essentially.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah,
the loop is essentially a blog list.
Yeah.
I just want to give a quick example of something. All right. Oops. All right. Let's go ahead and publish that. Okay, so what I've done here is, if you notice, if you remember inside here, I had a block grid, and then loop is inside the block grid.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And then inside the loop, all the contents that I wanted are inside of a block grid cell.
Yeah.
Okay.
One cell. Yeah.
Okay. So think about it this way. When I have a normal block grid, okay, and I want to have multiple cells in my block grid, this is how I would do it, right?
you just
I would
do
have,
that.
if you're manually doing it, right, this is how you would do it.
Yeah.
But obviously this isn't efficient,
No.
right? Okay. So what these loop stacks will do is I only have one block grid cell. And what it's doing is it's going to create a block grid cell for each object.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So instead of me having to go here and create a block grid cell for every single object,
Yeah.
okay, that's what the loop stack does for us.
Fantastic.
I have my block grid, and inside the loop will automatically generate a block grid cell for every single object.
Yeah.
All right. So what I did here, what I wanted to show you was, okay, further down the page here, I took block grid out of the situation, right? And all I did is I just have a loop stack, and inside the loop stack, I just have this object link with the image and the headers and the buttons.
Yeah.
And what that did is it just created them straight on top of each other,
Right.
Because I didn't define any sort of layout function. It's just going to boop, boop, boop right on top of each other.
Yeah. Wow.
As you see, this gives us the power. If I wanted to have a list layout, here we go.
Yeah, fantastic.
Right? Yeah. You know, and then here, let's say I wanted to have here, let's change it up a little bit. Let's say I want to have a 2-column. And over here, I want that. And then over here, I want this.
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah.
So then what it's going to do is for every single object, it's going to create a 2-column. Okay.
Based on a single instance.
And there we go.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant.
Right. And obviously I would add padding and gutter or whatever. Right. But you get the idea.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
It's very simple.
Yeah. It is. Okay. So that is, oh God, this could go on for hours, guys. I'm going to get it and I'm going to, I'm going to really go for it. It's just brilliant.
I have,
Thank you, Joe.
I know we've done a lot today. There is actually when you, let me share it again. Sorry. Keep sharing and stop sharing. When you first load it, okay, and you go into this admin dashboard, there's these videos here. This particular one, this beta 7 overview, I recommend this. It is like 3 hours, but I start from the very basics and I show everything.
Yeah.
Okay. I skipped a lot of what I showed here in this video today. But yeah, I definitely recommend at least showing watching this beta 7 video.
Yeah.
It is a very long one, but is very thorough. Okay.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Wow.
I'm happy to stay on as long as you guys have questions. So let me know. Anything else?
Okay. Yeah, I do. And again, it's something you guys probably already know. Feed versus blog.
Yes.
In a simpleton's.
So feed, as I said early on, feed, I'm going to add feed into the light version of
Yeah.
Total CMS. And feed is just a very simple version of blog. It has like 4 fields. You get title, content, image, and date, I think.
Right.
And I think I have a featured flag.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just a very slimmed down, very simple version of blog that has minimal fields.
So
kind of give people, I mean, my feeling is it gives people a little taste. And if they want blog, and then they'll get the standard version. You know?
Oh, okay. So it's probably not something I would use. I mean,
I wouldn't think so. I'll be honest.
Okay,
I mean, if you have blog, I would use blog, right?
Yeah.
And also sorting is kind of a problem, I think. No?
Yeah.
We spoke about that.
Yeah. There's less fields to kind of. Oh, another thing that I did add in blog is also in feeds as well. There's 2 new date fields. So whenever you there is a date creation date and update date, as well as your usual manual date that you can set. Okay. So that way, if you want to sort by creation date, maybe the creation date is different than what you want the date that you put into the field is, right? Or if you want to sort by, latest updated posts, right? So whenever you go and update a blog post, it automatically sets. These aren't things, you can't even manually set these dates. It is all automated. So whenever a blog post is created, that creation date is set. And every time you update a blog post, that update date is changed or updated.
Brilliant.
Yep. And then similarly, actually, what I'm working on now for the user stuff is there'll also be a logged in date on the user side, so you can see whenever a user last logged in, which will be, I think, useful.
Wow. Oh my God. I'm so looking forward to getting into this.
Excellent. I'm happy.
Thanks a
and-
lot. Thanks a lot, Joe, for helping me
Yeah,
with
thank
my
you, Joe.
issue during this session. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no
And-
problem.
and
I hope it's getting clear for you.
Yeah.
You know,
And sorry to everyone else that Joe has given me so much time. I hope you have learned something from it anyway.
I think it was good. I think it gave people an idea of how things could work or function. So I definitely make sure if you haven't watched this beta 7 video, I think it is very good. It gives a very thorough of everything. Okay.
Yeah.
So Joe, where do I find this beta, this Total CMS beta area? I don't know where.
Oh, that's a great question, actually. So in the community, there is a if you on the sidebar, there is a Total CMS 3 beta area, and not everyone is. You can join it. And yeah, I recommend you definitely post any questions that you have over here. So then once you join this, when you click in there, there'll be like an add join now button or something like that up here. You can join this space, and then any new posts in here will then show up in your main feed on the community.
I mean, I see Stacks Pro beta, but I don't see.
I created that. There's not much posted there yet because it's not. I'm kind of waiting for the new beta to be released, which should be. I'm hoping this month. So,
what do I do to sign up for that?
Join this group, and we'll make sure that everything's posted here.
I thought I did. I thought I did join the group. I don't.
Okay, cool. Yeah, then yep. When, as you see, the last post was 22 days ago. So whenever a new announcement comes in here, make sure you'll see it here if you're a part of this group.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I'll try that.
What was I going to say? I forget now. Shoot. Oh well.
Don't worry. You're getting old, Joe.
What were we talking about before that? Oh man. I brought up this page to do something. I don't remember now. Oh well. Must not have been that important.
As I said. Join the club.
Oh, Matthias was like, I showed you something. I don't remember. Okay.
Thank you, Joe.
I just said thank you to Joe and sorry to the others for the time.
Yeah.
And Geoff, if you intend to use TCMS, don't forget, don't panic.
Oh, nice.
It's all doable.
Nice. I like it.
Thanks, Matthias.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, guys, I appreciate you popping on and staying for so late. I know it's super late for some of you guys, so thank you very much.
Yeah, thank
Thank
your
you,
work.
Joe. Don't worry about it. It's brilliant.
Excellent.
It's brilliant.
Take care, guys.
Cheers.
Have a wonderful rest of your
Bye.
night.
Bye, everyone. Bye, Joe.
Bye,